You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I'll rise. That was one of Maya Angelou's famous quotes, and so very true. Her words spanned many worlds. She sat in the company of presidents after an improbable journey and had an incredible career as a poet, professor, and performer. But what she is best known for is that she always gave hope to others. And just a wonderful lady, just, you know, she was an older lady, but what an incredible, incredible life she led.
I was a big on social media. Actually, I didn't know a lot about her. And then I looked at social media, I'm like, wow, an amazing woman, truly.
I mean, how'd you miss that? I know. She's one of the most celebrated literary and cultural figures.
And prolific.
Just being
and prolific writer. I had
knew of her, but didn't know her actual work.
I had the very, very distinct honor. When I graduated from the University of Delaware, she was our commencement speaker in 1996. And a hush and a silence fell over the whole of the stadium. There were probably tens of thousands of people there. And they hung on literally every word of poetry that she recited.
I know, I was actually thinking maybe I better not read her poetry, but it was such a great line there that I wanted to start with something.
Yeah. Yes, and I have a favorite quote too, if it's all right.
Absolutely.
Nothing will work unless you do. And she's just chock full of beautiful one-liners and short messages that I think are so profoundly inspirational and helpful.
And what a person who overcame obstacles. I think that's Republicans and Democrats, but all the presidents liked her. So I think she spoke for 3 presidents, in fact. So
yes,
certainly will be missed, and a wonderful woman. But she will continue to teach generations for many years to come. All right, our second topic in the lightning round: no Olympics in New York. Okay, so why is the Big Apple passing on the 2024 Olympics? Anybody?
We have so much going on already. It's funny because with New York, the Olympics is sort of just another thing. Yes. I mean, if you think about it, there's so much. So, maybe one day, but think about where the Olympics was before, in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
Sochi. It's like, where the heck is that? So I don't know. Maybe that's good to take the Olympics at a place that needs to be built up.
Listen, after the Super Bowl fiasco and everybody trying to get home from the Super Bowl this year, maybe we should. Be it too. We're really good at things here in New York and New Jersey and stuff, but maybe we should say no Olympics.
I would love to see this is like the last major sports thing that is not on the historical list of the city of New York. I think as a born New Yorker, I grew up in New Jersey though. I would love to see at one point New York host the Olympics. It shows every year through the New York Marathon, which I'll be running this November, that it can host massive events and do it with class and grace and with a lot of New York style.
The Olympics, you need space. You need space for all these games.
We'll send the Olympics down to Dr. Bart in Florida. What do you think about that, Dr. Bart?
Well, maybe down here it would be a little bit better. I agree. I think New York, it's dynamic by itself. I'm not sure it really needs the games as much as I like them. New York it's got so much going on that it just might be too much.
And I'll tell you what, we all know that we have to get our cheering, our big bullhorns out, because we're going to have to come out and cheer Dr. Mirescu.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, now, did anybody see this whole thing with Bill Murray? He crashed this wedding and gave some really good advice. I thought he was fantastic.
I was appalled by the way he looks. I mean, his age, he looks like 100 years old, and he was hilarious, but I didn't even recognize him.
Of course, but it was impromptu. He was in the same venue, and it was great of him to show up and have some kind words to say.
And he basically said to the guys, like, if you meet the right person, like,
go for it.
Go for it. But he also said, travel with the woman. And if you can travel in difficult places, then and you're still together as a couple, waiting on lines and dealing with less luggage and so forth.
I'm not so sure I agree with that. Well, I'm not so sure trips that are difficult. I don't know if that helps things or not.
Maya Angelou had something where she actually said something. You can learn a lot about a person by the way they deal with tangled Christmas lights, lost luggage.
That's true.
So I do think that you do learn a lot. So
no, I agree with Dr. Janie. Absolutely, that's the test of a relationship. If you can really, lose your passport in Ecuador or
and you're still together,
something like that.
I'd rather skip.
Well, I just love the fact that he took on this kind of like this fatherly role. I love Bill Murray.
Yeah, fun guy.
All right. On another note, let's stay in Tinseltown, if you will. How did a journalist get so close to Brad Pitt? Now, at the Maleficent premiere. He actually hit the actor. Now, this isn't the first time this Ukrainian, I guess he's considered a TV guy, has been in trouble. He kissed Will Smith. He hugged Leonardo DiCaprio. He managed to grab a Grammy Award from Jennifer Lopez and never had credentials at the Grammys. So I think it was a little more disconcerting because this guy was able to get through so many loopholes.
And don't you think they know who this guy is by now? I mean, at these celebrity events, I don't know. They might want to have him in the book, front of the book, that watch out for this guy. Don't let him in. I mean, for life. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's strange that he was able to get away with it again.
Again, we talk about the personalities of these guys, Dr. Bart. I can't imagine how he thought that he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Yeah, you know, some of these folks, they just have a personality problem. They cannot contain themselves. Their emotions get away from themselves. There's nothing that's really controlling them. And they have certain features that are personality that's just beyond comprehension to a lot of us, but they can't control it.
Well, this wasn't really impromptu, though. I'm going to challenge you on that, Dr. Bart, because he had to think these things out. He had to get to these events.
He
had to plan things out.
So I agree with that. I do agree with that, but I think that some of these folks actually plan it. They're deliberate. They feel the need. I guess that's what I should have said. They feel the need to actually act on some of their emotions, and they may plan it out, but they have trouble controlling it at the end.
And you know what, Nia, if you don't mind, what's interesting about this guy is, you know, you talk about copycats. He's all about the notoriety. He wanted that fame, and once you Google it and you see how much he's done, it is surprising that he hasn't been recognized when he shows up. But he puts himself together to look like a press person.
Yes,
and he's determined.
But I think that's very disconcerting in terms of security. I'm like, who's protecting these guys? I mean, doesn't Brad Pitt have like a security force for him?
I sat next to Brad Pitt in a restaurant about 10 years ago in Soho, and we chatted for about 3 minutes before and after. He was about the most nicest, gentlemanly guy you can imagine.
You meet everybody. Well done, Maya and Brad Pitt. Oh, okay.
I only wish it was that. But I think in certain environments, in closed environments, his security detail, you know, is open. But this guy should have been on a list.
But they got in trouble this time.
Well, yeah, they nabbed him. They were pretty rough with taking him out, but as they should be.
Of course.
But it still was, I thought, a little bit nerve-wracking to see that. Well, also kind of nerve-wracking. You know, how many people? I was going to give you all a spelling word and see who was going to win the spelling bee here on Fresh Outlook, but I decided not to do that. But we saw the spelling bee. We saw these two kids. Talk about nerve-wracking. That is, to me, almost more tense to watch than watching a game, like a baseball game or anything like that. You guys see it this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's just fun because, you know, little people, you know, they've got all this major stress and you're just feeling for them. So it's fun to see, you know, and they learn early in life that they've got to study and they've got to stand up there in front of a ton of people and produce.
Oh, there they are.
And perform. Right.
Well, they actually gave both of these kids, they both got to win, which is the first time that happened in 52 years. So that was certainly some news, I guess, this week. But
look at all those people.
As a psychologist, Dr. Janie, what do you like to have? Like, not everybody is that poised and focused.
But these are kids who didn't start doing it yesterday. These are kids, I believe, who have been studying their spelling bees and taking local tests and other tests and going forward. So they're quite practiced at what they're doing. And I think it's just so great that we're even talking about something educational as opposed to something else we could be talking about. And it's just a credit to you and the show that we get to talk about something so positive like this.
And I'd like to add to that. In today's world where every writing program has some autocorrect, there's so much, actually I don't want to say laziness, but in terms of putting an emphasis on spelling and basic grammar and things like that. Yeah, we're made because of technology not to embrace literature and education and spelling that way.
Well, not even literature though. I was amazed to find out that kids. I went into a classroom and I was doing a story, and all the kids had calculators. So it's not just literature. I was like, wow, you guys get to. This is a math class, though.
They don't. A lot of schools, they don't teach cursive anymore. Even to write like that, it's just typing. Amazing.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Bart. Dr. Bart, you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Well, we're weighing in on these very poised young men who won the spelling bee.
I'm just thinking that I like it because I could actually feel the stress that they're going under, and I'm usually pleased with the results because of the way they handle themselves. And I agree with what you guys have been saying, that they seem to be rather well trained and poised, and I do think that's a great thing to witness, and it makes me a little anxious watching them, but I do love it.
I sometimes compare this, and I do love sports, and I think there's a lot of great things that come out of sports too. But I think the most tense moment in sports, next to the spelling bee, is waiting to see if a pitcher is going to get a perfect game.
Nice segue.
I mean, that to me is always...
Oh, then you should have watched the Rangers match the other night.
Yeah, no, I did. I was watching that. Well, you were watching the Indiana.
Yeah. We won't talk about that.
We won't talk about the basketball.
That was very stressful, too.
And we also want to talk about, well, we're not going to, wait, are we going there yet? Okay, we're going to go show that worst pitch in history. Well, that was made at a Met game this week. That was 50 Cent was throwing out the first pitch, or he was trying to at least. Can we see it again? Can we see that again?
How embarrassing. That was terrible.
That pitch was worth 50 cents.
What?
I mean,
are you drunk?
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Pay
Look
the
at
dollar.
this. I think that is hysterical. And I gotta say, he had a big smile on his face. And, you know, let's talk about the winning personality. When you make a mistake, Dr. Bart, is this a moment that we can live by? Because I know you love baseball.
I love baseball. And actually, as much as I played, I had a time when I had trouble throwing the ball. I went through it and I got over it, but I had trouble throwing it accurately, and I had always been pretty good at that. But this was a case where I think he's probably better off laughing and trying to just get past it. You know, use a little humor here.
Do you know, I've met and interviewed Yogi Berra many times, and he said the most frightening thing for him after playing all those games, winning all those World Series rings, was actually throwing out the first pitch when he retired. Mm-hmm. And he was just absolutely so afraid. But, you know, to Dr. Bart's, since we have a free psychologist here, I'm going to ask you a question. I had the same thing as Dr. Bart was describing. I was written up every newspaper in high school. Mm-hmm. I had 10 strikeouts, and the next day I couldn't pitch. Everything was it looked like 50 Cent. So what happens when you lose focus like that?
Well, when you lose focus, you're gone. And so when he comes out there, I agree with Dr. Bart that it's nice to have that attitude, that winning attitude, and to be able to laugh it off. What courage it takes to be in front of TV like that and toss out a pitch when clearly that's not his field. But
but that pitch it wasn't even, it wasn't even left field. I don't know where it was. It was Montana.
Almost hit the bloody cameraman.
Yeah. It was the worst pitch ever. Really embarrassing.
But I agree with you. It was kind of courageous. Don't you think so, Dee Dee?
No, I thought
you don't think it was courageous?
No, it wasn't courageous. He gave a bad pitch. He had to laugh it off because it was pathetic. Here's an athlete, he's a big guy or whatever. You know, look, he's built well. And look, the pitch didn't go here. It went over here. So, no, I'm sorry. He deserved everybody to laugh at him. I'm still laughing.
Well, but I think he knows everybody is. I don't think that's the question.
No, at least it didn't go stomping off and cursing and, and saying,
he
you all
was
didn't
gracious about it and had a laugh. You have to be able to have a laugh.
That's
you have
true.
to be able to laugh at yourself
I'm
first.
sorry, that was so bad. I'm not giving him any praise. It was hilarious, though. That was fun for us.
Well, I do see that our credits are running right now, and that means it is the end of the show. Dr. Janie, thank you so much for being here. Wonderful to have you on here. Dr. Bart, you enjoy yourself down there in Florida. We'll see you again next week. Dr. Mirescu, always a pleasure, and Dee Dee, always a pleasure. That's all we have time for this week. From all of us here at Fresh Outlook, thanks for watching, and have a terrific week.